Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. This is Craft to Play Ever After. I'm Cassandra. I'm really glad that you can join me. If this is the first time that you stopping by, just a quick little background. This channel is basically about amigurumi, my love for amigurumi. I'm a South African and I moved here with my family to Denmark at the end of 2020. So this is just sort of a quick little background of who I am and what the channel is about. Now today I've got a number of projects to show you and I'll explain the background behind these projects. For my birthday in December, I received the Hobbii Advent Calendar boxes. Now they were four boxes that you could open on the Sunday, each Advent Sunday. It was sort of a mystery box. You got a pattern that you could make with each box. So each box contained the materials, the yarns to make a specific project. So I didn't know what the projects were. And after opening up the first box, which was the projects to make a beanie. So you had a beautiful yarn and a pom-pom, and you could download the pattern from the website, and it was to make this beanie. Now, I've mentioned before, I'm not a clothing accessory Afghan blanket type of crocheting person. I'm primarily an amigurumi crochet person. So I thought, okay, I'd give the first box a chance. I will do the beanie. I didn't like how it turned out, and I have already donated it. So I thought, okay, for the remaining boxes, now I didn't open it on each Advent Sunday. It was my birthday, so I opened all of the boxes at the same time. So I knew what was in them, even though I didn't know what the patterns were. So after the first box, I decided, okay, depending on what the following patterns were going to be, I'm most probably not going to make those patterns. I am going to use the yarn for something else, because you get the yarn we got in the boxes were amazing. So the second box I'm going to show you. So the boxes look like this. You've got 4 different ones. This is box number 2. And when I opened this box, I knew they were speaking to me. So even though I decided not to do the pattern, and I'll pop a picture up on the screen just to show you what the pattern was. It was for a hand towel. I'm not a hand towel crocheting type of gal, so I knew I wasn't going to do it. But the box contained amazing cotton yarn. So you got, this was it. This was what was in, you can't see it, sorry, it is a bit blurry. But it's baby cotton, 100% organic Egyptian cotton. So you got 4 skeins. You've got this, I don't know what the color is. All their colors have got numbers on them. Color 10, that's just like a, I don't know what kind of a darkish green thingy. So you got 2 of them, and then you got a very, very nice coordinating, like a, what's a lighter minty green color. So this is what the package contained. So 4 of these yarns, and then a few other bits and bobs, a few sort of other accessories. But basically the project that you had to make with this was the hand towel, which I was not going to make. And then I thought, okay, on many different channels, and now I'm already apologizing because I am digressing from my main story, but I always love when I watch YouTube channels, and I always read, and I'm going to read for you the back. So this is 100% cotton, 50 grams, 170 meters. Now, I don't know about other amigurumi people, but telling me the amount of meters that's in a skein of yarn actually doesn't help me anything. I don't know what that means. And every time, I kid you not, when someone mentions the amount of meters in a skein, what happens in my brain is I start to picture an athletics track, because an athletic track is standard usually 400 meters around. So when someone says, like for instance, this yarn, it's 170 meters. Now this is where my brain starts thinking, okay, where the start of the 400 meter begins. So you get the front straight, and then they go around the curve, and then you get the back straight, and then you get the last curve. So in my mind, I'm now taking this yarn, and then I'm unraveling it, putting it at the start of the 100 meters. So I do the whole front straight. Now in my mind, I'm now laying out the yarn in the front straight, and 70 meters, so I know how long 100 meters is, and then it goes around the curve, just over two-thirds of the way around the curve, and that's where it ends. Then I'm thinking, after all of that trouble of now unraveling mentally this skein of yarn in my head, to picture 170 meters, I still don't know what you do with 170 meters afterwards. So I think it's probably worth more if you make blankets or shawls or outfits or even beanies, to know how many yards or meters you need for a specific project. For amigurumi, I can tell you more or less from a 50-gram ball, I can make this amount, more or less. In amigurumi, we rarely use up full balls of yarn. So we use a bit of this and a bit of that. You mix this color, you mix that color, and then you have a toy in the end. And most of our toys aren't like massive teddies. It's usually smaller size toys. So, sorry, that was now a whole side story on me not understanding the length. But it's useful for other things, I'm sure, for me. And every time, it happens every time, I mentally put my yarn around an athletics track, and I still don't know what to do with it then. Anyway, that being said, I decided on an interesting challenge when I opened up and I found these four. So they are 50 grams of, it's a very thin, it's a super fine. So it's a weight one super fine. So it's a fairly thin, it's normally thinner than what I use for my amigurumis, but still perfect. So I knew this was going to be a challenge. So I'm sort of filing it under the subscription box, mystery box challenges. And what I wanted to do, and as I mentioned, as amigurumi people, we never just take one skein and just work with it start to finish and see how much we get done. We always use bits of different colors. So I thought, using these 4 skeins in 2 different colors, I was going to create projects using only these 2 colors, but crochet until there is nothing left of this. So I wanted to see, out of 4 50-gram balls of yarn in a very thin weight, how many projects could I finish? And this was interesting. So I took my yarn. Now I'm digressing yet again. I actually bought, after I got my box for my birthday, the Advent Calendar, I bought another Advent Calendar set for my mom, her and my dad were going to come and visit from South Africa in December. Then Omicron hit. That didn't happen. So I'm just using my mom's box as an example to show you what was in it. So I took my 4 skeins, and immediately I knew I wanted to start with Timothy the T-Rex. I've seen him on many channels. He's been done all over the place, and I thought those 2 greens are going to be perfect. So I knew the start was going to be Timothy the T-Rex. So I made him. Now he's obviously very, very small because it's an incredibly thin yarn. But I was so excited. So I knew, okay, start of the challenge, kicked off well, did Timothy the T-Rex in no time. It almost used next to none of the yarn up. It felt like I still had 4 full skeins after I finished this guy. So that put in my mind, I'm going to do a dinosaur series because I really loved these colors, and to me they worked really well for a dinosaur. So this was Timothy the T-Rex. He was my first project. I was off to a roaring start. So Timothy got done. Then I had to decide on my second project, because obviously I still had the majority of the yarn left. So I've got a little book here, so excuse me for looking, just so that I know the patterns that I use, but I will link them down below. The next one I did is just called Dinosaur, and it's from another one of my very, very favorite designers. I've done tons of her patterns, and this is Sweet Oddity Art. Now this one came in a little pattern pack of 3. I think there was the other one was a unicorn, and there was the dinosaur, and there was something else, but I'll link the patterns. So this was the dinosaur, small dinosaur pattern by Sweet Oddity Art. And I really love this one. I've done him before. Works up really quickly. Her patterns are very, very easy to follow. And they're very cute. So she's obviously got bigger patterns as well. This set, they're a set of 3 slightly smaller. So I did the dinosaur by Sweet Oddity Art. Obviously in this one I used a bit more of the darker green. There we go. So by the second amigurumi I completed, I had not yet finished a full skein of either of the colors. So I thought, okay, I'm going to find another pattern trying to use slightly more yarn. So I was on Etsy and I found, it's just called Dinosaurus from Maria Usteyushkina. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I will link it. It was a lovely pattern. I fell in love with it when I saw it. So for this one, a lot bigger than my other 2. So just to compare Timothy. So this was little Timothy the T-Rex. So as you can see, this one a lot bigger. So this one again, very, very easy pattern to follow. But this dinosaur used up all of the dark green that I had left. In fact, the tail is supposed to be all in the same color as the body, but I didn't have enough. So I had to split the tail up into different colors. That's why his tail is a bit stripy, because the very, very last, I think I stopped 1 row short from what the tail actually recommend, just to have enough yarn left to actually sew the tail onto the body. So finishing this guy, I used up a part of the dark green I had left and a full skein of my second dark green. So after dinosaur number 3, this was, I now had no dark yarn left. So that made it interesting, and I also didn't have any more dinosaur patterns. Yet again, me and Etsy found each other. I found also another designer that I've done a few patterns from before, Deliami, it's the designer's name, shop. And this one is called Marshmallow, the dinosaur. So he, even in the pattern, he's crocheting in 1 color, which was perfect because I only had 1 color left. And this was this guy, or girl. So I gave her a little more detail in the eyes because I felt shame. She had no contrasting color. Her whole little body, tail, spikes, head, arms, everything 1 color. But there you go. So just as a comparison again, I'll show you Timothy the T-Rex. He was the smallest one of the amigurumis. And then this little Dinosaurus pattern, he was the biggest one. So this is sort of, Deliami's pattern is sort of in the middle. So when I started this pattern, that was actually the start of my 4th ball of yarn. So I still had 1 complete light green skein when I started this one. And she didn't use the entire skein. I still had a bit left after her. Now, by this time, I was sort of getting green fatigue. I was getting dinosaur fatigue. And I thought, okay, I knew I didn't have enough yarn left to do a full dinosaur or something else. So I got out to octopus patterns. Now, why I thought they would go with my dinosaur theme, I don't know. I think I was just looking for something else and something small. Now, if I had any sense, which clearly I didn't, I would have chosen a small octopus or squid pattern just to make sure that I could actually finish it. But this is how far I got with this little pattern, and it is called Crochet Octopus by Little Crochet Love. It's actually an adorable pattern, much bigger, because by the time I got to round 8, I saw I was not going to make it. So I shortened the head quite a bit. I had enough yarn to finish the bottom where your tentacles is going to be attached to. And then I only had enough yarn left, literally, to make this one little tentacle. That's it. So the squid head with one tentacle, that was what I got. This was literally the last piece of yarn I had. Now I did go ahead, I did complete the rest of the parts. I must just sew them on. So there's still a little star that you could crochet that goes onto the head. And I did the correct amount of tentacles. I did them in, obviously you can see I was in the mood for many different colors after using this green for an entire week. So I must just add the little tentacles to the bottom and my squid will be done. But I thought I wanted to show you, for the purposes of our episode, exactly how many items you can crochet with 4 50-gram balls of fine yarn. So this was the last piece. So I'm calling this series The 4 Amigos and Dave. Dave being this poor little soul at the end of the chain with half a body. So there you go, folks. I don't know if any of you have ever done something similar, trying to see how much you can make with a single ball of yarn. From start, like you open up the ball, brand new, start the crochet until there's nothing left. I don't know, have any of you done that? But this was an interesting experiment for me. I actually enjoyed it. So just to show you again, 4 50 grams of yarn, 4 tiny skeins of 50-gram balls. You can make this and this. How can I hold them? And this and this and a squid head. For what it's worth. So let me know if you guys have ever done something like this. Let me know if you're up for the challenge. Maybe let me know if you ever try it. What did you get done with 1 ball of yarn or 2 balls of yarn from start to finish? I think it's interesting. Like I said, telling me the amount of meters in a skein, I don't care. But knowing how much I can make with 1 skein, that is interesting. So let me know, and enjoy crocheting, enjoy yarn, and I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.